Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another LinkedIn Live session with Revpanda. My name is Faruk. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Revpanda Group. I'll be your host for today's session, launching an iGaming brand, technology, marketing, and regulations. Whether you are in the process of launching a new iGaming brand or you want to fine tune an existing one, today's discussion will be packed with valuable insights and practical tips that can help you succeed. Today, I'm joined by Khoren Ispiryan, Senior Sales Manager at Slotigrator, and Barb Tasci, Co-founder and Chief Business Officer at Revpanda Group. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let's start with a quick introduction, if you like. Horan, would you like to get started?
Sure. Hi, Barb. Hi, Farooq. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me and thank you for organizing this event. Such kind of events are really important for industry to exchange your ideas, your experience. So it's very good. My name is Khoren. I'm Senior Sales Manager at Slotigrator. We are iGaming platform provider and aggregator. I've been in the industry of iGaming already for 5 years, and I'm mainly working with operators and iGaming investors. Apart from my professional background, I'm also a travel blogger. I run my travel blog on different social media channels. And I would say that travel and iGaming are my main passions, and I'm very excited to travel in the world of iGaming with you guys today.
That sounds excellent, Horan. Just for my curiosity, can you tell us, for instance, your top three picks from all these countries you have been to?
Uh, it's a bit hard to point out three ones, but I was impressed by Brazil because of its nature. Second place, I would say Portugal, and third place, Malta, because like three of them have sea, and I love sea. I love watching the waves, etc. So these three ones are my top picks. What about you guys?
Got it. Well, I want to pass it to Barb. Maybe Barb, you can just introduce yourself for our audience, and also you can tell your picks.
Yeah, sure. With pleasure. Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Barb. I'm the co-founder and chief business officer at Revpanda Group. Well, while my day-to-day operations change, usually mainly I work on our client projects and working on growing them together with our team. On the other hand, just like Koran, I actually travel a lot for business reasons, but the only difference is I don't document it. And probably I should start that as well, because with you as well, Horan and Fark, with you too, we travel quite often and quite frequently, see each other here and there. And maybe also we should start, I don't know, some panda vlogs for those things and panda blogs for those travels and destinations. But what I can say is for the countries, unfortunately, I haven't been to Brazil. Right, hopefully one day I will. But so far, what impressed me was Asia, 100%, and Dubai for its unique environment. And to be honest, where I live is also quite nice. Latvia, a small country in the northern part of Europe. So those would be my picks in general.
Great picks, Barb. Well, you and I travel a lot for work, so when
Yeah.
Horan was saying Malta and Portugal, I remembered SPC and Sigma. So yeah, all these rush time that we have over there, guys. Thank you for the introduction. For those who have the opportunity to meet Ray Panda for the first time, maybe a couple of words about us. We are a digital marketing agency helping top iGaming brands get more traffic on their websites, and we help them convert them and retain them so that your players become loyal users on your iGaming platform. We offer SEO, content, backlinks, digital PR, user flow or payment method testing, and many other services for iGaming brands. Recently, you probably saw the news that we acquired a media company, and now Revpanda became an iGaming traffic powerhouse. So you can have all your needs from the traffic point of view, acquisition, retention, and traffic at the same shop in the same place. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I would like to keep this session hopefully around 45 minutes, but checking all the questions that I prepared, it might be a little bit longer, but guys, it's going to be like full of knowledge packed today, so I recommend staying in the conversation. So we did some social media tests. I received a couple of questions. I'm going to insert those questions in the conversation too. Um, and before we dive into the discussion, I'd like to remind you that we'll be taking some questions also from the comment section on LinkedIn Live. So please feel free to post yours and we'll have a look at them. So without further ado, let's get started maybe with our first questions. And Horan, I would like to address it to you because among us, you probably have the biggest knowledge in that. Let's start with the regulations and let's touch on responsible gaming as well. Launching a new gaming brand can feel overwhelming for many business professionals because of the regulatory hurdles that they may face. With recent regulation tightening in many markets that we have seen, what advice would you give to new operators on staying compliant across different jurisdictions?
Mm-hmm. Well, I will provide three advice which are like the most important ones. First one is basically to research the regulation, the research the jurisdiction before entering there, because it's important to have the proper knowledge before starting your operation there. So it's really good to have this kind of knowledge, and because in many markets the verification process, the licensing process, KYC are different, and it's important to have this knowledge. For example, in UK, player verification is something different. In some Asian markets, it's completely different. So it's important. The second one is the international licenses. Right now, we have Curacao going through some regulation changes, so my advice will be just to consider also some alternatives, just to be on the safe side, to check what's going on in Anjuan regulation, in Kanavake regulation, just to have proper background. And the third advice that I would give is mainly about the experienced iGaming advisors, legal advisors, because you as an operator, if you want to enter the market confidently, you need to have these good experts with you who will check the market and who will guide you and will help you to fix anything which is against the law in the operation.
Definitely, Horan, especially the market research part. I can't emphasize it more. I've got a follow-up question on that. How do you balance the need for compliance with the need to innovate and stay competitive in the iGaming space? Because sometimes it might have a limiting effect. So, what's your thought on that?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. I think having balance between innovation and compliance, you need to make regulations as your main start point. And whenever you're planning your operation, you need to have regulation in the start. And with this, you will be also very flexible to adapting the changes to the changes. And whatever innovative feature you will create, you will be able to align it with the regulation, and you will be more confident in the operation, because sometimes people misinterpret the regulation, but the regulations and jurisdictions itself, they are very good, and they help you to act more independently and more confidently. So just making the compliance priority in your innovative operation will help you to grow with a higher speed.
Thank you, Horan. Switching to Barb, let's look at this from the marketing point of view. Barb, when launching an iGaming brand, marketing needs to work hand in hand with compliance. And I was wondering your opinion, what are the key regulatory challenges that marketing teams face and how they can build creative, effective campaigns while staying compliant with local regulations?
Actually, that's quite dependent on the country, Fark, as Horan explained previously. And what we see is mainly in some jurisdictions, while wording are very critical, what words you are using, how you promote your brand, such as UK. It's one of the most compliant countries. Either you are an affiliate or brand, and previously you had some limitations in countries like Spain, like you were not able to promote your brand on some specific places. So what we have here is usually having a marketing department going hand in hand with the compliance department with your legal people. Either you have some representatives in those countries being crystal clear on those jurisdictions, like what are the regulations, what to do and how to promote. And what we see here is mainly making sure that they are going without any legal boundaries, such as promoting in black way, or even like going through some brand biddings in on the search engines. What we recommend is usually brand protection doesn't go away from these compliance, and you can build your own branded keywords and just protect your brand by building those microsites to generate your own traffic. That's actually so far has not gone out of the regulation, and that's the one of the safest way to start with. While you are researching the compliance, that's also quite a good way to begin in generating traffic.
Got it. Barb, I can give an example from our day-to-day work when we provide content to gaming brands. Sometimes I know that we are sending content like 4 weeks in advance. It goes through their legal teams, and then we get the green light and finalize it with their editorial team. So yeah, so that could be something I would say really must to apply. Barb, I have a follow up on that. As we talk about content, how do you ensure your content, iGaming brand content, let's say whether it is an ad, SEO, social media, that remains with the boundaries and avoids legal pitfalls in highly regulated markets?
For that one, actually, some platforms have their own regulations for that are going hand in hand with the local regulations. So if you go to Google Ads may not allow you to push your ad on some countries where it's illegal to promote your brand. The same happens with Meta, and I suppose also on LinkedIn. So that's actually quite a simpler step to take over there. The biggest thing to take care of it is the content you are going to promote. Within the content, you have to be precisely going through the legal boundaries, making sure that you are following what the local regulatory, the licensee gives you in general, what they want you to do and what they want you to avoid using. Once you do that, it's actually quite a child's toy, and you can just move forward with the follow up ads, retargetings, and so far you can also build the SEO content for your website, which are also compliant for those, and that would also generate you to organic traffic that you are going to get in the bigger picture.
Thank you, Barb. Horan, I would like to turn to you and maybe talk a little bit about responsible gambling here. We talked about innovation a bit, but sometimes brands can be too innovative. It means very engaged players, and that brings the topic of responsible gambling. How can operators balance offering a highly engaging experience with promoting responsible gambling at the same time?
Hmm. For this purpose, my offer will be to provide some fun features which will be also responsible in the same time. By saying this, I can bring several examples. For example, to set limits on yourself as a player. This is exciting because you have the possibility to play, to enjoy the entertainment, but in the same time you can set a limit on you that will control your player activity. So this is fun, but this is also responsible and covers the responsible gambling in the same time. Another thing can be set some reminders that after some specific time the reminder will pop up and will say that you're playing a lot, for example. What do you want to cool down or whatever? So this is another feature that can be offered. Another one can be personalized message. Usually my operators are doing this after big wins. When the players are getting big wins, they are sending some personalized message congratulating the player, cheering them up, but in the same time telling that it's great that you won, but what about like having some proper cool down time to see how you can enjoy the rest of the entertainment. So such kind of small steps close can make the operator to be closer to responsible gambling.
Got it, Horan. Thank you. Barb, do you have anything to add on top of it?
Honestly, that's something we are not that much of involved in the casino operation. So I believe Horan quite covered that topic. So I'll pass on that
100%.
one.
Absolutely. Horan, let's continue with you and maybe let's touch base on the technology part, which is, in my opinion, one of the main topics to discuss and entrepreneurs should consider. Before launching a new iGaming brand, one of the most critical decisions entrepreneurs make is selecting the right technology platform. A solid technology foundation, it's not about only, let's say, tech functionality, but it's about scalability, security, and user experience. When choosing a technology provider to build a new iGaming brand, what are the most critical factors to consider, especially for a brand aiming to scale quickly?
Mhm. Uh, Well, that's actually a very good question. We at Slotigrator, we are like platform providers, and we highly evaluate these kind of things before doing any marketing, for example. In my opinion, first one for the operators to consider is the flexibility of the platform, how flexible the platform is, and how easily the platform can adjust to situational changes. So it talks about the platform provider, the company itself. The second point is the success stories. It's not coincidence that many of our operators come to us and tell us like, what are your top 10 operators, top performing, and we are sending them the list, and with this list they are already understanding what are our potential. So basically for the operators, looking what kind of clients the platform provider has will help them to make a better decision. And the third part is the partners. What kind of partners we have as a platform provider? What kind of payment providers we give to the client, or game providers, or sportsbook, or any third party integration? What kind of marketing agencies we work with? So it's very important. So these three things, like who are you, who are your clients, and who are your partners, are the most important thing for platform providers to market, to have marketing in, and also for the operators to focus on these kind of things.
Oren, as you know, there are lots of iGaming providers in the market. I wanted to follow up on what you say, and I'm wondering, do you think there are some particular red flags that operators should watch out for vetting any potential technology provider?
Mhm. Well, sure. For example, the communication breach itself can be a very good red flag. I mean, not good, but very big red flag, because if the communication is not smooth, if there is no proper transparency, it means that something is not good there. So the operator should watch out. Another red flag can be the old-fashioned technology, when the operator sees that the technology that the platform provider uses is quite old-fashioned. This is also another red flag. And also setting uh, big deadlines and not meeting these deadlines, and doing the work with a lot of delays, can be also a big red flag. So I would, if there are operators watching us, I would advise them to pay attention to these things and always consider these things before choosing the platform provider.
A lot of things to consider here, Horan. Thank you. And one more thing that I want to ask you, I noticed some brands choose to go with custom built platforms. What's your view on custom built platforms versus off the shelf solutions like you offer? And what risks and benefits come with both options?
Okay, for the custom built platform, the benefit is that it's flexible and it covers the needs of the operator. Whatever operator asks, the custom built platform can do it. And also, it's easy to uh, do some flexible changes, etc. The risks are that, first of all, it's not cheap in terms of financial part, because it requires a lot of resources and hence a lot of times. So if you want to go live very soon, having a flexible project, flexible platform is not a good pick for you. When it comes to the templates to off the shelf platforms, the advantage is that it's easy and quick to launch, and if you want to go to the market quicker, it's a very good option. And the risk is that sometimes when there will be some regulational changes which will require some technical changes, it will be hard to make technical changes based on your operation, or based on your jurisdiction. So this can be also a risk for the operator.
Lauren, thank you. Barb, let's continue with you and let's look at it from the marketing point of view. At Revpanda, we work with many iGaming brands. We provide them SEO services, and oftentimes we see that they can't really improve their performance due to the limitations on the provider side. From your perspective and based on your experience, what are the key points when choosing the right provider?
Initially, I'd go for the primary examples in their portfolio, which brands they are having as the top dogs in their under their belt, and I would go for evaluating their performances manually, like from the SEO point of view, from a customer review point of view. I would go a bit deeper with that, what the users wrote about those, not about the customer satisfaction point of view, because that is a bit tricky, but more like a functionality and the performance point of view, what their customers said on some review platforms, as well as website like Trustpilot, where they leave their honest reviews. And while evaluating their also SEO performance, I would try to understand if it's related to their code, or their in general they don't do anything for SEO, because that's also one of the popular practices in the industry. They invest in affiliates, but they do not invest in SEO. That's why they are not doing anything. And after doing that, I would even take a one step further. Let's say I'm going to the Brazilian market. I would take a look at your top example in Brazilian market. I would try to register there. I would try to be a player locally there, do some testings from there. Let's say check if their payment methods are actively working, if the customer support is on place, and so on. And if the provider sustains all these and it checks the mark, it just checks the boxes, I just go with that provider and take it to the next step. And that would be the initial stage that I would go for when choosing a provider. And at the meanwhile, I would be building some brand protection sites before even I deploy. So it would be going hand in hand for getting the users I'm looking for.
Got it. So even in the case, let's say you work with a provider which is quite rigid and not really flexible, there are options to improve the SEO over there. So basically, you can typically build a blog section as a subdomain, for instance, so that you can push the SEO optimization over there, because your homepage needs to be conversion optimized, not really, let's say, SEO optimized. So you want the potential players come over and immediately go with the FTDs rather than reading all these long keywords and stuff like this. So block idea might be a great thing, and this is one of the solutions that we offer our brands right now within Revpanda. And I love what you said about the brand protection. Definitely, it is a must to apply, especially when you're launching a new brand, because affiliates will be immediately, running for those branded keywords that you have, and you don't want to lose that. Fantastic. So, Barb, I would like to, enter the next session, let's say, in our conversation, which is my favorite part, marketing. So let's talk about it. At Revpanda, we already have a proven framework for new brands who would like to, get started with their iGaming operations. And we have got the entire, let's say, at least 6 months coverage, pre-deployment for the launch, and also post-deployment, monthly marketing activities to take care. So that includes thorough checks on the design and technical SEO. And also we help with the web architecture, data structure, everything else. And we run those pre-deployment audits, brief the developers, and so on. And we definitely go up with some digital PR activities, because I always tell my clients, like, if you have one shot, if you want to do only a single PR campaign ever, do this when you're launching your brand. So that might be a great activity, because you can attract over there brand awareness, some let's say secure some backlinks, and also you will be able to get some traffic too. So this is going to be amazing for a new brand just starting. So touching base on that, but I would like to leave it to you. But Khoren, please feel invited in the marketing conversation, because I know you personally really like the topic a lot. So you can step in anytime you want.
Sure.
Barb, with so many marketing channels available, we talked about SEO so far only. How do you prioritize between paid advertising, SEO, affiliate marketing, and social media when launching a new brand?
That actually goes hand in hand with the regulation as well. And I'd like to also add on-site ads that you see on bus stops on the street, even like sponsoring some teams or events in certain jurisdictions. Well, initially, the advertising is going for brand awareness itself when you do it on site. It doesn't generate you the players that you are looking for, but it screams to players that, hey, we exist and we are reliable, because putting an ad on anywhere on street requires some certain jurisdictional steps. So that's why I would go for that if I'm operating in a regulated country and I have a local license. And the next step is, while going live, I already have some affiliate deals done, and I make sure that I have as many players as possible generated through affiliates, so that I could have some cash flow going in the business and I could run the business positively. But most importantly, I would go for brand protection even before I launch, so that I will be having my own branded traffic while people are searching for my branded keywords in the country that I'm targeting. They would be coming to my website instead of some affiliates. And that way, I could be cutting costs significantly and generating revenue without doing anything that much, to be honest. And on top of this, as the cherry on top, for the long term gameplay, I would be going for doing my own SEO for dominating the market and targeting the specifically in those countries that I'm into, and being as vocal as possible about my games, about my bonuses, about why players should come to me.
Got it. If we divide this verb, all these marketing efforts that you mentioned into, let's say, two major categories, yeah, like pre-deployment and post-deployment or post-launch period. Could you walk us through the pre-launch steps to take for a successful user acquisition for the brand?
Sure. It's in the beginning, I would make sure that the technical performance is in place. So I can welcome players and they have no issues regarding playing at my casino or betting on some sports, claiming some bonuses, performing some deposits, or any other performance related stuff. And on the other hand, for the user acquisition channel, as I mentioned, I would be going through the brand protection strategy even before I go live, so that my sites will be indexed and they will be having some impressions on Google. And once I go live, I can just generate players who are looking for my brand itself. And after going live, as I mentioned, I would be more aggressive on the affiliate side to generate some players straight away and retain them to make sure that the business is stable and growing in terms of the number of players, and operating on the SEO side to grow the overall impressions of the website from different keywords as well, like online casinos in the country I'm in, or the best bonus in the country I'm in, and so on, to make sure that I attract the players not only looking for me, but that are relevant to my niche.
You partly answered my, next question. So I wanted to ask also post-launch. So if you can give us a couple of tips for the post-launch and how brands can grow their brand and the, let's say, scale the acquisition. So that would be also very good to hear.
Yes, for that one, I would begin with the affiliates, as I mentioned. And while working on the affiliates, my SEO site should always be sustainably invested, so that I always get new keywords indexed. I always get new traffic coming from different resources, and try to diverse it as much as possible, while having those players coming in from the not only affiliates but also my brand protection, so that I would be, let's say, growing my net to catch as many fish as possible in the sea. And afterwards, I would single-handed. I wouldn't go anywhere single-handedly, but I would be evaluating the performance of the affiliates of the SEO efforts, because in some countries they all have different approaches, and players have different understandings. Like in Brazil, for instance, on-site ads generate very good players, but SEO sites are a bit lagging behind over there. And while in Europe, it's vice versa. And I would be understanding how the market dynamics work and investing accordingly after, let's say, 12 months of investing in multi-channels.
Got it, Barb. Let's maybe continue with the favorite topic of marketers, which is metrics, marketing metrics. So I was wondering your opinion. What metrics should iGaming brands be closely tracking in the first few months after they launch the brand, just to ensure their growth strategies are working effectively?
That would be initially the number of users coming from the affiliates, first and foremost, and how many players are coming in, how many, I mean, what is the player value over there, and in general. And from a SEO point of view, I would say the impressions and the overall traffic resource, even though they are organic, which keywords we are getting from, where we are having our biggest fishes from, and in general, how our brand protection strategies are growing further. And once we evaluate them, we understand the way to go in general, which is the most profitable one and which one is the most accurate one. And when it comes to KPIs, obviously there are some certain calculations, and in every country there is an average value of players. I would try to understand if my investment is covering the, let's say, average value of the player, and even like putting me in profit, so that I can also invest further in that, or at least keep it on that level and work on retention to get more from those players, the efforts that I'm putting, efforts and investments I'm putting on the affiliate side.
Definitely. Just my 2 cents on this, Barb. I believe that it is also a good idea to have your user flow and your conversion checked by by professionals in the field, because we notice that brands, they work with affiliates, and then we see these numbers like click to registration, registration to FTD conversion rates. So they might be really lacking. So for that reason, I would say it is very important to have a look at your conversion. And another thing you mentioned about on-site ads, uh, I can even add over there, for instance, like influencers working with big names and so on. So basically, brands would like to put themselves in the market and be available for players. That's fantastic. But later on, when players they just remember the brand's name, right, or the influencer name that they are working with, and so on, they type it on Google, and if brands they don't invest in SEO, what's going to happen is all the affiliates will be listed over there. And when those potential players they click to them, brands they need to just welcome all these players through affiliates, which means sharing almost half of your ROI, those listing fees and so on. So brand protection is a must, I would say. After making sure your website is good, go ahead with brand protection and cover all your branded keywords. Horan, based on your experience working with a lot of brands in the market, do you have any suggestions or anything else to add?
Well, guys, you are the professionals, and I enjoyed learning more from you about like marketing and about how the operators should do their marketing. I support what you said, and as a commercial person, I would just add that the operator need to also be financially ready to do these kind of things and to do their marketing, because sometimes the operator doesn't fully comprehend the uh, future costs, marketing costs that he will have, and they are focusing on initial investments only. So I would suggest just to be financially ready for future marketing investments as well.
Thank you, Horan. Um, Gentlemen, let's continue with another part which is important, in my opinion, localization. As the iGaming industry continues to expand globally, localization has become a vital component, and it is already a part of a brand strategy. um, it's not only about translating content, it's about adapting the new brand to resonate with the, let's say, diverse audiences across different cultures, languages, and regulations. Horan, before we discuss with Barb the content and the marketing part, I want to cover the localization of the payment experience in the markets that new brands target. Addressing the right payment methods can be helpful with conversion and user experience, as we were talking earlier. What are your remarks about handling the payments in local markets when launching a new brand?
Mm-hmm. Sure. The platform providers themselves, they need to provide a proper decent payment methods to the operators, because the payment methods themselves are the most important things in the iGaming operation. Because if the player doesn't like the payment methods that they're using, doesn't like the payment process, and they don't trust it, and they don't feel comfortable with it, they're just leaving to another online casino. So having a payment method which will be locally supported, which will support the local currencies, the local habits, even, it will definitely help the operators to have better customer retention and to obtain more customer, I would say. So this payment method part is really a gentle part and needs to be handled very carefully and very professionally. And as a platform provider, you should have a reliable partners in payment field, so that you will be ready to provide your platform without any second thoughts that it might cause any financial issue to the players, and hence also to the operators.
Horan, you work with many brands in the market, and I'm sure there are lots of success stories. But based on your experience, there are also probably brands coming to you with some issues, let's say delays, or like not, finding the right or local payment methods. Can you tell us the impact on it, especially in the area of player churn?
Mm-hmm. Sure. uh, the platform providers, usually when they provide their payment methods in general, they also check what is the requirements in the local market, and local markets are usually a bit saturated because there are a lot of online casinos in the market, and for the operator it's important to have a smooth transaction and smooth customer journey in terms of payments. And if these kind of delays, these kind of issues will happen, we sometimes joke that there are more online casinos than players. So if the player doesn't like whatever is going on in the online, in one online casino, they go to another. So in terms of the customer churn, they will just leave to and they will continue their uh, playing activity, their game activity in the other operator, in the other online casino. So we will have customer amount decrease. Let's say the customer will leave the online casino. So that's why it's very important not to have such kind of delays and not to have such kind of issues, because the impact is really huge, and to fix the impact, to fix the reputation because of the impact, can be very hard and challenging.
Definitely, Horan. Imagine players, they find you. I mean, by the way, across all this crowd, all this noise, they find your brand and they go to you, and you spend a lot of money to attract those players, and then they want to give you money, and you cannot just realize it, that that is a big failure. And also another thing is, apart from the revenue, user experience, as you say, and the brand reputation. When you're planting a new brand, just starting, this is happening, it's not really good news for the brand. So it's a must. And definitely I would recommend everybody watching us today, testing. Test your payment methods, especially in the new markets, in the new, let's say, payment methods that you introduce. Moreover, it is crucial, in my opinion, to do regular tests. uh, Sometimes we talk to brands and we say, okay, what happens? How do you know that your payments are not working that particular time? We hear it from the customer service. That's not the best approach. So you got to be more proactive over there. So I would recommend testing at least in your prime hours every week the payment methods in the markets that you are operating. Barb, switching to you, let's maybe talk about the content and the marketing part of it a little bit. You and I, we often joke about those brands. They spend like hundreds of thousands of euros for booths or influencers and so on, and they don't even translate the terms at their footers of their websites, privacy policies, and so on. Like there are many examples of that. Please first explain us difference between translation and localization, and also tell us your quick tips or recommendations for new brands.
Sure thing. First and foremost, translation and localization are often confused, and people think that they have the same meaning, but not exactly. What I can say there is, as a person who is a translation and localization graduate, translation is mostly preferred for translating the meaning itself, while localization is more targeted for the, let's say, local market, what the meaning there stands for, and even using some slangs, some local trends, and going for some meaningful things that are not even in the source text or source content. That could be that could be an example. Let's say you have a very nice bonus related to the Latvian players that are using some Latvian slangs, using some local famous people and influencers for those bonuses. Meanwhile, if you go to Czechia, you will be using very different context, very different people, very different faces, as well as different content over there. So that would be the initial difference between translation and localization. And actually, Horan mentioned it very well. Localization is not only content but also user experience itself. So from the beginning to the end step, there should be there should be a very well defined steps that are going to be taken from the local players. That's why it's often confused, and it should not be overlooked. When it comes to my tips for the new brands who want to go through who want to go through different markets that they are not native of, I would always recommend going through not only the payment method testing for those local countries, but also going through the entire user flow testing if there is something missing in the steps, if there is something odd in the steps, because devices also change. Sometimes they put the customer support button in the middle of the page, and it shouldn't be there, and you should be aware of it and you should fix it. That way you can also learn about it, as well as the, let's say, content itself, if it is localized very well, because we know how usual localization tasks go. We receive a spreadsheet, or you send a document to be translated into another document, but on live it's placed as a button, as a CTA, as a placeholder for some things that we are not aware of, and those should be identified and checked on the live environment as well, so that your players will not be left behind or will not have any mixed feelings about your brand. In the end, I mean, it's there are more online casinos than players, as you say, Horan, and first impression lasts in this game, and you have to be impressive from the first step they got into, and they would never feel that you are going to do something bad with their I don't know, with their data, with themselves. And the most welcoming way is to localize your website legibly.
Barb, thank you. That was quite comprehensive. A couple of things that I want to add. I strongly recommend anyone watching us today, either for their, let's say, new iGaming brand or new project, or the current ones, go with a localization audit. Yes, there are SEO audits that you can check technically everything and so on, but it is also very important to check your website from a local native speaker's point of view, and localization specialists can do that. And another thing I would suggest, as Barb was saying, not only payment methods but the whole user flow, even FTDs, for example, like your affiliates are sending you FTDs. So how this journey looks like, already starting from the affiliates page all the way to the payment page on your end. So check everything through. Apart from this, the next topic we're going to talk about is retention, and CRM emails is an important part of the retention. When sending those emails, please speak to your audience in their own language. So let's say you're operating in Brazil, don't send messages in English language and so on. So these things, I think, no need to mention, but we see this every day. So these are a couple of tips from my end. Khoren, yeah, go ahead, Barb. Yes.
Before we move forward, actually, there is a good example I can share if you like. Very recently, there was an online casino partner of us who had 30 languages implemented on the website, and we have gone through the language QA in general.
Mhm.
That included quite a comprehensive list of pages that they had on the page, on the website, and in total we found more than 200 pages of document to be fixed in terms of localization. Like we identified that this was missing there, that was not placed correctly, this is used inconsistently, and so on. And once we found this out and forwarded to client, he said that like his conversions increased by 20% straight away after that. And I mean, if you're in the business, you know what 20% means in conversion, and if you retain it very well, you know exactly what it means.
Mhm.
So it's very, very critical, and if you are not doing it, you are probably missing something behind. That's what I can say.
But fantastic example here. And also brands, even if they, let's say, rely on affiliates, they need to understand one thing: if you cannot convert, affiliates will not work with you because they are wasting their traffic. So you got to look at these things from conversion point of view as well. And Barb, thanks for this example and the numbers. I think it is really eye-opening. If you gentlemen don't have anything else to add, I would like to press the gas pedal a little bit because we I love the conversation, but maybe our audience would like to hear the next topics too. So, Barb, you were talking about retention. I want to ask Horan a little bit about this particular topic. Yes, localization, can be a powerful part both for conversion and retention. And as we talk about retention right now, I see that it is very common that iGaming brands focus on acquisition, but retention is often overlooked. Um, and also, we know that retention is key to build a sustainable business. Horan, what are the most effective loyalty programs or gamification studies you have seen? And please tell us how they impact long-term player retention.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first one always free spins and free bets are working like 100%. Even though there are like lots of new innovative things, free spins and free bets are like on the top. The second part is the loyalty programs itself, when the bonuses and other kind of promotions are given based on the player loyalty and player activity. With this, the players are becoming more engaged and they want to spend more and more time in the online casino to have a higher level of loyalty and to get better offers from the online casino. So this is also very good from the retention point of view. Another one which I really like personally is the achievement badges, when you are getting some badges based on your game activity. And also one tricky and really working program option is to provide some limited time promotions when you have certain amount of time to get the promotion and to get the unique reward, which really motivate the player to engage immediately and to try to get this reward. These kind of things are of course like the basic one and generic ones, but right now the industry is quite creative and they are creating new gamification tools, gamification processes to help the customer retention. And what will be the long-term impact? For sure, the more we will focus on the improvement of gamification tool, the more the player retention will grow, and the more you will have player base, and the more the players will enjoy spending time in your online casino.
Horan, you checked all the boxes. So thank you. Barb, maybe we can take it from the marketing point of view here a little bit. Uh, m- Often people think that marketing is only for acquisition or attract new players, but it is also crucial to keep these players active and engaged. And nowadays, it is quite a challenging job because there are many things marketers can do. For instance, personalized and authentic content, social media, loyalty programs, optimizing user flows, applying regular testing, improving user experience, and more, like lots of things in our plate. To cut it in short, if you started a new gaming brand, what retention strategies or tactics would you use yourself?
That is actually uh, a bit tricky because it depends on the country as well where I'm going to. But in general, I can break it down in a very simple way. In the end, the retention requires a form of communication. Even you send a message or you don't, even they are on your brand itself, and what you are promoting there, what you are putting there is a form of communication as well. And you should communicate with them that you have the best games and you have the best options for them, for those players to stay on your brand. So what I would do is, first and foremost, email marketing is still one of the biggest channels for the retention. As far as I mean, as long as you are in the online casino game and sportsbook game for more than 2 years, and if you run actively CRM campaigns on a daily basis, more than 60% of your GGR will be coming from the email retentions that you are targeting. And of course, it depends on the country, but in general, the the bigger you go, the longer you go in the game, the bigger part of your revenue will be coming from your retention activities. So I would be going for first email marketing. Second, I would build a community. If I'm in the game that long, I would like to be a brand that is recognized by the players, not just a brand that has been seen on some affiliate websites and you clicked play and just came for that. Because if you came from that channel, it means that you can go away from me using the same channel as well. So the moment you come in, I would like to make sure that you are very welcomed here and you are a valuable player in our operator. And we want to make sure that you are happy with us and you enjoy your time while spending some moments and playing some games with us. So just to sum it up, I would go for email marketing. The moment you come into the moment a player comes into the brand, I would go for sending regular emails, even like some personalized messages from the customer support if it's allowed, and of course going through building some community to keep players engaged, and even like running some special campaigns with them on the, let's say I use Telegram for the community building. I would run some special campaigns for Telegram, as well as if I have close affiliate partners, I would run some special campaigns with those affiliates to improve my, like, boost my brand awareness, and that would also end up in more retention for me.
Barb, thank you for the insights. Just to add, which is going to be actually the topic for my next question, there are lots of new technologies, new tools coming up to help marketers right now to personalize better, to make the right timing for them or better messaging for them, and so on. So I'd like to ask both of you, and please, gentlemen, step in whenever you want. Uh, Regarding the future trends in iGaming, what emerging technologies do you think will disrupt the iGaming space the most? Let's say in the next few years, blockchain, AI, or maybe something else.
Horan, you are the guest, so please
Okay.
feel free to contribute.
Thank you. So basically, as you mentioned, Farooq, already, the uh, artificial intelligence and blockchains are the hot topics of the iGaming industry nowadays. And in the future, the online casinos and in general iGaming companies are becoming more Web3 oriented. They're integrating many crypto features and Web3 features in their online casinos, because right now younger generation, a more non-traditional generation or traditional players are coming and requesting these kind of things, and you need to be ready for it. So the blockchains are really an important part. Artificial intelligence as well, because uh, it's there and we need to use it somehow. Just it's important to have the balance between artificial intelligence and human work, so that it will be like a proper, adequate balance. And I would add that VR, virtual reality, is also becoming quite popular, and virtual sports and virtual interpretations of the games are really top highlights of the operators when they are coming to us requesting some content. They are very excited about virtual games and virtual reality part of the industry. So I think this is also some area which have good potential.
Thank you, Haran. Barb, what's your take on it?
Honestly, I see there is a very big hype on all these topics, and the only one that is remaining steadily is the blockchain technology that is embedded in the payments of the iGaming industry. And I see that every day new operators coming in, and with more focus on crypto rather than traditional currencies, because of the success rate is way higher than the traditional ones, and way more accessible from anywhere on earth. Honestly, for the AI part, I still think that it is very, very behind on where it can be. That's why I do not recommend implementing it straight away, but using it as a small assistance in the operations. And maybe in the mid run, it's going to become a very, very advanced business intelligence tool for operators as well as affiliates and other businesses, and thereon it may be involved in more decision making roles and even generating more revenue for the businesses for that point. And when it comes to VR, I actually saw a few examples of that just in the making, but I noticed that they're also not so accessible at the time being with the current technology and current accesses of the players. And I think it's going to be the next big thing in the maybe by the end of this decade and the beginning of new decade. But right now it's too early for that. That's how I feel about it.
Barb, I understand that you don't recommend AI in particularly in copywriting and translations. Because we noticed, especially in the after March Google Core update, lots of pages were actually, de-indexed. They
Yeah.
were written like by AI, and I full 100% agree with you. I cannot emphasize this enough that your content must be human written. It should be authentic and relevant with your audience. So going with the AI translation or AI content, it's something that is easily recognizable by Google. And imagine a brand pushing suddenly a lot of new content written by AI, which increases the content velocity. It's not going to be welcomed by Google, and they will be, trust me, the first to recognize that. So they will be, there will be some kind of penalties on it, and you don't want to do that. So go with the traditional way. Just one thing, from my side, gentlemen here. Yes, there like every day. I already lost the track of the new AI tools, honestly. So I was a big follower on Twitter, like all these new things and tools and so on. But now, what I can tell you is like we are a little bit lost with all these new hypes, new trends, and etc. I would recommend sticking to the fundamentals, which is understanding the customer, talking with them the way they would like to expect from us in their own language, and providing content that they want to have, and personalizing those messages, segmenting your audience, and treating them as Barb was saying, like VIP, so that you can increase the loyalty, retention, and everything else. So yes, jumping on the new, let's say, trend, new wagon every day, it might look cool from outside, but you got to make sure your foundation is set well. Uh, Gentlemen, we are well over our time, but I would like to ask you a last question. Both of you, maybe Horan, as you're the guest, like Barb's hospitality here, I would like to start with you. If you had to give one piece of advice to someone launching a new iGaming brand in 2024, what would it be?
Well, launching an iGaming brand itself is not a piece of cake. It's not easy, but also it's not hard when you are choosing a right partner. So my advice will be act attentively and promote responsibly and be compliant with the current regulation, because the player activity and player experience itself is the most important thing. And when you act properly, you will definitely have a high quality player experience and then high quality player retention.
Thank you, Horan. Barb, your take.
Actually, that's quite summing up what we have been discussing for the whole conversation. So for my part, I can say that if you'd like to launch your iGaming brand, first and foremost, understand the market and where you're going to, know the regulation there, know the trends there, and how the acquisition and retention channels are working there. If you don't know what you are doing in the market, you are going to be dispersed very easily within maybe 6 months, or depends on your cash flow over there. What I would recommend is just have some good consultation before you go with launching your brand from the both operational and marketing point of view, so that you will be understanding very clearly what's going on there, and how to promote your brand and how you can grow your brand. Because even if you stick to one spot and you have a steady growth, you will be having very profitable business as an operator.
Thank you, Barb. So as the, let's say, last takeaway, maybe I can just mention a couple of things. Today we covered a very extensive session, and thank you, Barb and Horan, for joining us. I'm sure our viewers will consider your insights when they start their new iGaming brand, and or maybe even improving the current ones that they have. We covered the um, compliance to regulation side. We touched base on the responsible gaming a little bit, and then the technology part, how to set up the whole foundation as a new brand. We discussed it, and even the marketing part of it. So how they need to be adjusted together. Later on, we covered the topics around marketing. So there are lots of different channels to activate, and it's not only working with affiliates, but also you need to work with your other acquisition channels throughout the time. And we talked about the retention, some new trends, and all these things can be a, an episode, a topic itself, honestly. So if you have any questions to myself, Barb, or Horan, please reach out to us. This is a LinkedIn Live, so add us on LinkedIn. Don't be shy. Ask your questions directly to us. And of course, big thanks to all of you for joining us today. And if you'd like to learn more about your new brand launch, as I said, please reach out to us. And I want to ask Barb and Horan, gentlemen, do you have anything to add or any message for our audience today?
From my side, I would just thank the audience to join the session. I hope it was helpful for them, and they will take something from them from the session. So, and as you mentioned, Farouk, whenever they have any question, they can easily approach us in LinkedIn. We're also in almost all the exhibitions, so they can get in touch with us also face to face. So it was great to share my experience and also listen ideas from experienced people in marketing and in iGaming industry. So thank you for having me, and thank you to the audience and to you guys for the nice talk.
Thank you, Horan. Barb?
Well, first of all, thanks everyone to join this webinar, and hope we shared very good knowledge and useful information with everyone that they can utilize in their businesses and learn new things. Also, thanks to Khoren for joining us with this webinar and sharing his knowledge in the other sides of business where we are not involved in a day-to-day operations. So that was quite insightful, Khoren. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Absolutely.
for everyone who would like to meet us and discuss even further on the topics we discovered, they can add us on LinkedIn, or the soonest is Sigma Malta. We will be there. They can find us there, and we can even have some meet and greet over there and discuss what we can do together, or just brainstorm for the industry and the trends.
Barb, as you mentioned about Sigma Malta, I would like to celebrate and also encourage our viewers today. Revpanda is nominated as the best marketing solution in 2024 and also best affiliate in 2024. So please go ahead and vote for us. And Horan mentioned Sotigrator will be at the event as well. So Revpanda will have the booth. So come over, meet us in person, and say hello. So thank you once again, gentlemen, everyone watching, and have a great rest of the week.